You are listening to Second Chance Ministry Radio. Faith comes from hearing, and hearing the Word of God. Romans 10:17. Welcome to Living by Faith. Daily scriptures to increase our faith in the Lord. Enjoy, and God bless.
Day 2. Grasping for God's guidance. After leaving Sukkoth, they camped at Ethan on the edge of the desert. By day the Lord went ahead of them in a pillar of cloud to guide them on their way, and by night in a pillar of fire to give them light, so that they could travel by day or night. Exodus 13:20-22. Have you ever felt like you are wandering lost through the wilderness? I know I have. When I was little, I used to love spending hours exploring the woods that surrounded my childhood home. We lived on 80 acres, and I probably traversed every inch of it during my younger years. The only company I had during these adventures was my faithful collie, Lassie. One day I think I was around 12 years old when I went deeper into the woods than I had previously. It wasn't long before I had ventured off our property and found myself very, very lost. I had no idea which way to go. Lassie, sensing my distress, began to bark wildly. She first ran to me and then ran in the other direction a few paces. It didn't take long to realize that she wanted me to follow. When I began to walk behind her, she stopped running back to me and would only look back at me every few steps to make sure I was still behind. I put my trust in her, and she led me out of the wilderness and back home. Little did I know that 8 years later, I would become lost in a very different type of wilderness. When I went blind, I had no idea which way to go. I felt I had no way out. In this passage from Exodus, God is leading the Israelites out of Egypt. Instead of taking the easier, more direct route, God delivers them through the wilderness. You see, God knew what was ahead. He knew that the better journey for the people was the one that to them seemed harder and more treacherous. Just like the Israelites, I had a very long, hard journey ahead of me after losing my sight, and I did not want to travel through it. God did not choose to heal me physically, although this would have been the easy way out of my troubles. Instead, He chose to deliver me through the hardships and grief that my disability brought. God showed His presence to the Israelites as He guided them with the pillar of clouds and a fire by night. By following these signs, God delivered the Israelites from Egypt. I, too, had to search for God's presence during my first few months of blindness. As I prayed, I received opportunities, strength, and hope. I felt God's presence and light guiding me. Just like with the Israelites, it wasn't always easy for me to trust God's presence and follow His guidance faithfully. But I know now that trust is the only way I can journey through the wild and dark places we find ourselves in during our lives. When you find yourself in such a place, remember that God will always provide light and guidance along your journey. Think about it. In what ways do you feel lost today? How can you focus more on God's presence to guide you? Pray about it. Lord, I pray that you will calm the wandering of my heart. I feel lost today and am in desperate need of your guidance and presence. Help me to listen for your voice so that I can take the path you desire for me. Write about it.
Hello everyone, Frank Garcia here with a quick reminder to all of you. The coronavirus will pass, but the word of God will never, ever pass. Matthew 24:35.